Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, we'll reveal why it's vital for men to not miss their doctor visits. Then, your pet is part of the family. We'll offer advice for your aging animal. We'll make Dad smile with some dynamic dental do-overs. Plus, art, music, events will uncover unique ways to help those who are grieving. And we'll focus on how to prevent families from fighting when faced with a serious situation.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Men often overlook the importance of taking care of their health, especially when it comes to checking in for a checkup with their doctor. Dr. Christopher Gonzalez has joined us in the UH Broadcast Center to share why these visits are vital and how they could ultimately save men's lives. Dr. Gonzalez is the chairman of the Department of Urology at University Hospitals. So welcome to our show.
Thank you for inviting me.
In general, men don't really schedule doctor's visits, really, do they? What is it that makes them finally come in for a checkup?
It's their wives. So fortunately, there's a lot of good women out there that bring their men in and they get them checked up, because men generally do not go to the doctors.
Yes, so if we can get them in the door, right, then we can help them out.
Correct, correct.
And there's a lot of issues that men have as they get older, right, that go into the urology kind of area.
That's true. So we know that men on average die about 5 years before women do in the United States and also in other industrialized nations. So it's a real phenomena. And we know that they die from certain things. So we know cardiovascular disease is number 1, cancer is number 2, and unintentional injury is number 3. But usually that starts to phase out right around age 40, 45.
Okay.
So there are very specific reasons why men die before women.
So what does like heart disease and cancers and those kinds of things have to do with urology?
Correct. Good question. So men's health, or the concept of men's health, is kind of tying everything in together. So a man may have a symptom or a sign of erectile dysfunction, and that brings him in. Well, as it turns out, he's been feeling fine, but he just has erectile dysfunction. Well, we know from some pretty good data that that might be the only sign, the only symptom, the only tip that there's underlying cardiac disease. And we also know for men that they have a higher incidence of sudden death. And sudden death is when men just basically die and there was no warning for it. So sometimes things like erectile dysfunction, which will bring the man in, will actually tip us off to get a lipid panel profile and figure out if they've got underlying heart disease. So it is a predictor of cardiac disease.
Okay. Now, if there is erectile dysfunction, as men get older, though, it doesn't always mean that. Are there treatments other than?
Correct. Yeah, it doesn't always mean that. But we know that about 50% of men over the age of 40 do have some form of erectile dysfunction. We've got great treatments. We've got pills, we've got shots, as unpalatable as that may seem, but they do help men. And we've also got prosthetics that we can help men with. So if you want to get an erection, we can get you an erection.
Okay, well, that's good news for our male viewers out there. Right?
Exactly, exactly.
So, if you do identify some kind of heart or cardiology issue going on, so you get the lipid panel, as you said, and then so you send them on to the cardiologist.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's out of our area of expertise. But I think the thing is a men's symptom of urinary frequency, a kidney stone, enlarged prostate. Those all may be associated with things like diabetes. It may be associated with hypertension. Things called the metabolic syndrome. Also, obesity is another thing that actually leads to some of these things like kidney stones and enlarged prostate. So what we're finding is this all ties in together. So it's a team-based approach with men's health, and that's what we're most excited about.
How about the cancer?
Cancer is a big deal. So that's the number 1 or number 2 killer of men, depending on what your age is. Urology has 3 cancers: prostate, bladder, and kidney cancer in the top 6 of all cancers diagnosed in the United States. So it's significant, not only in incidence, but also in the amount of deaths that it causes in the United States every year. And take, for instance, prostate cancer. We're probably going to have about 170,000 new men diagnosed in 2017, and another 27,000 are going to unfortunately die from prostate cancer.
So that checkup is really important, isn't it?
Extremely important. Extremely, and we can save lives. So all the things that we talked about are very curable if we catch them early.
All right. Great information. Thanks. Longevity and quality of life, 2 very good reasons for men to take their health seriously. So men, schedule a checkup to get checked out. And thanks to Dr. Gonzalez for checking in with us today.
Learn more by calling the Center for Lifelong Health at University Hospitals at 1-844-312-LIFE. That's 5433. Or visit their website, www.uhhospitals.org/lifelonghealth. Next, your aging pet. But first, Lincoln Logs created a miniature building bonanza back in the day. So who invented this option in child-sized architecture? A hint, his father was famous for designing distinctive dwellings. We'll let the suspense build, then arrive with the answer.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
John Lloyd Wright, the second son of architect Frank Lloyd Wright, invented the legendary Lincoln Logs based on his dad's design of the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo. These building blocks of childhood are now in the National Toy Hall of Fame.
Pets can be perfect playmates, offer unconditional affection, and finally be a four-legged member of the family. But just like us, aging can affect them too. Dr. Earl Rogoff is here with advice on the different ages and stages of your favorite feline or devoted dog. Dr. Rogoff is a veterinarian and the owner of the Orange Village Animal Hospital. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We've got an extra guest, so introduce us.
This is Gypsy. She's a 9-year-old Jack Russell Rat Terrier mix. She was found as a stray, and then we rescued her.
Oh, hi, Gypsy. You look nervous. It's okay.
Yeah. She's very calm for a Jack Russell.
So age really does impact a pet's behavior, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Pets go through the same life stages that people go through, except instead of 60, 80, or 90 years, it's compressed down to 10 or 20 years, depending on the size of the pet.
So having a kitten or a puppy then is sort of like having an infant, right?
Absolutely. Thinking that in the first year, they're going to go through about 13 years of a human life. So that's, you know, when they need the most care, they need the most training. It's certainly something you want to consider your lifestyle when you're looking to get a pet and determine what age you may want to get.
All right, and cats are a little bit more calm. Dogs usually, though, as a puppy are...
Oh, yeah. Dogs are more needy. You know, by nature, they're a pack animal, so they want to be with other dogs. Cats are more sedentary, well, not sedentary, alone. They're not as cued into that. Dogs investigate and explore their world by taste. That's why they chew on things. They're determining if it's food.
So it's not just to ruin your shoes. It's actually because there's a reason for it, huh?
Yes. But you want to be careful. You don't want to give your dog old shoes, old socks as toys because they don't know the difference between the new ones and the old ones.
So training when they're young is really important, right?
Absolutely, because they're going to remember whatever you let them get away with or whatever you train them to do as a puppy, hopefully they're going to remember their entire lives.
Okay. And potty training, getting them outside?
Oh, that's the biggest important thing in the first few months because you don't want to go through life cleaning up after your dog. That's one reason that cats may be an easier pet for older adults because they use litter boxes, they don't have to go for walks. By nature, they want to be clean. And
so it's easier to train them to use a litter box then, huh?
And they, you know, they handle being alone better than a dog will for shorter periods of time.
So when you're thinking about a pet too, if you get an older dog and they haven't been fully potty trained, is there a way to fix that?
You can. I mean, it's not true that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It just takes a lot more effort. You have to go back to confining them. When they're not housebroken, freedom is the worst thing. Because if they can go in a corner and use it for a bathroom, and then come back to you, they're happy. They don't know the difference.
Right. So what happens when pets get a little bit older?
Well, like adults, humans, as they get older, they're going to be more prone to medical conditions. They can get arthritis, they can get heart problems, kidney problems. So again, it's something to consider when you're looking at a pet their age with the younger pet needing more training, more attention. The adult pet should be the healthier years and less expensive to own. And then as you get into the senior years, you're going to start countering more of the medical and health problems.
Okay, but they can be a great pet.
Oh, absolutely, and great companionship. And they're a reason to, to get you up and make you go outside and exercise.
And keep you healthy
Yes.
while you're keeping them healthy, right?
And it's always nice to not come home to an empty house.
Sure. And they really do greet you when you come home.
Yes, they do. They love you.
All righty. Thank you for being on the show, Gypsy. We love to pamper our pets, and in return, they light up our lives. But it's important to remember they have different needs at different ages. Need help managing their stages? Use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Dr. Rogoff for sitting and staying with us today.
Thank you very much.
For more information, call the Orange Village Animal Hospital at 440-248-0151 or log on to www.ovahosp.com. Next, fabulously framing a father's face. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Looking for ways to manage your pain? Then attend a free class on the non-pharmacological treatment of pain. Tuesday, June 13th at 6 p.m. at the UH Ahuja Medical Center. Christine Kaiser from University Hospital's Connor Integrative Health Network will offer alternatives to decrease your discomfort. To register, call 216-285-4069.
May have been Mom's Month, but June belongs to Dad. Today, dentist Steve Marsh will focus on fathers who face their teeth troubles and now can smile not only during the month celebrating Father's Day, but all the year through. So welcome back to the show,
Thanks so much,
Steve.
Lori.
And when it comes to you and your dad, it's like father, like son, right?
It is like father, like son, and that's my dad and I. After I came out of residency in the Air Force, he practiced into his 70s, and like him, we both went to the Ohio State University for dental school. He went into the Army. And when I was coming out of school, I talked about where was I going to do a residency and said the military was the best one, he thought. So I went into the Air Force, and then when I came out of the Air Force, my dad was ready to retire, and that was a picture of us on my first day, which in private practice was 1980.
Wow. So, and you still see some of the same patients that you saw way back then.
Just this week, Lori, a guy, his name is Carl, is a wonderful guy. He was in my first, he with his wife, he's now widowed. Carl's in his 80s, but I'm still seeing him. And he said, between my father and me, we're the only thing in his life that was, in a sense, a constant, because he never had to look for another dentist. He followed my father from being a little boy, now me. And so it's been really gratifying for us. And he has a file that's way thicker than this. And sometimes we go over the file. And I had somebody recently who came in. She has been with us all these years, since 1985, actually. And now her kids come to me. And now her kids have kids. And so we're seeing grandchildren, that woman's grandchild. We can look back and say, you were pregnant here when you first started. She said, I came in because I had some gum problems. So we follow people for many years, and again, that's been one of the most satisfying things. We have a wonderful relationship for all these years. We see them every 6 months, 4 months, more than most of their families.
That's oftentimes true. And you've got a few special dads you want to tell us about, right?
Right, in honor of Father's Day and my own father. This is a very interesting story. He works for the federal government, and his wife does too, and she's overseas, and actually her two kids, or their two kids, are with the mom overseas. And he actually wanted to surprise her. For years, she's been talking to him about those front teeth. In fact, they wanted to get them done for their wedding. They were not able to. And now, about 15 years later, he thought it was time, and we did his teeth. We did gum contouring. Those are two old, very old crowns, Lori, that he had. Those were porcelain metal. They're very opaque. And he was ready to do his teeth, and we repaired those, put porcelain crowns there, reshaped his teeth, and did a beautiful job, I think, in giving him symmetry. And then he went overseas and surprised her. Another father, a wonderful guy, 6 kids. All 6 kids went to college. He took care of them. He's been wearing a thing that went in and out, we call a flipper, for about 25 years. Now he said, it's my turn. And we did bridge work in the front. Those are permanent teeth, all porcelain. no metal at all, and he loves a smile, and his wife is so glad that he took care of himself for a change. And another guy, 2 daughters, took care of his wife, his kids, everything. She dragged him in and said, it's your turn. I don't like looking at you across the table like this every day. On the lower teeth, we did some veneers, uppers, some veneers, and some crowns to give him that smile. Wonderful story about a father who, again, wanted to take care of himself with his wife's encouragement. Wow. So in honor of Father's Day, and to remember my father, it's my honor to focus on them today.
All right, and those are amazing makeovers.
Thank you, Lori.
You should be proud, and so should they.
Thank you.
Make Dad's day by getting him to greet every morning with a smile. For help, give Steve a call. His number's next.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, community services. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, it's Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and we are here today to show you not only how to work your important shoulder muscles, but also the triceps in the back of the arm. Every woman wants to work that area. You ready to do it?
I was born ready.
All right, let's do it. We got our bands here. We're gonna start with the bands under our backside, because we wanna be seated on the band just to make sure they stay in place. What we're gonna do from here is we're gonna start with our hands at about a 45-degree angle and our palms just above our shoulders. We're simply gonna press that band up above the head, just about touch, and bring them back down to the starting position, okay? We're looking for 12 to 15 repetitions, slow and controlled movement, and also please do not rock back and forth, maintain that good posture. How you feeling, Lori?
Oh, taller already.
Taller already, all right,
yeah.
That's good, you got some strong shoulders there, everybody. Okay, 12 to 15, make sure you're breathing, and now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
You probably know about the amazing work Hospice of the Western Reserve does for its patients and families. But what you may not know is the work that they do for anyone grieving in the community. No hospice connection is necessary to receive this kind of help. Lynn Hermensky is here to share the unique offerings that are available. Lynn is the Provider Relations Manager at Hospice of the Western Reserve. So welcome to the show.
Hi, Lori. Thanks for having me back.
The programs that we're talking about today are available to anyone, correct?
Correct. Anybody who's experiencing a loss in Northern Ohio can come to us for services. Hospice of the Western Reserve is able to provide these great programs through wonderful donations from organizations, donors, and grants.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, first up, and this is very timely,
yes.
In the summertime here we have summer camps for kids.
We do. Kids experience loss as well. So we've had kids that have experienced the loss of a parent, a loss of a sibling, a loss of a close friend, and they need that support too. And we know that kids love to be with other kids. And so we bring together these wonderful camps that are in a safe, fun environment for the kids. They're specialists on hands, and they really explore nature and arts and crafts and music and fun. And we even have a camp that utilizes horses, which is super fun.
Yeah, I like that. But what about us, those of us who are a little bit older than the kids?
Yeah, so for adults, we have a variety of free support groups that we offer. So whether somebody has faced a loss of a spouse or a parent or a child, and we even offer free support groups now for loss to overdose. And these are offered, again, on the east side and the west side, and there's really great support groups for adults that are free. We also offer some healing through arts programs as well, and these programs are really creative. Our art therapists come together and they come up with great ideas utilizing painting and photography, journaling, and then they also do some fun with fabrics where you can take your loved one's clothing items and turn them into beautiful quilts and pillows and teddy bears. And so it's really a creative way to help the healing process.
Wow. And then, if that wasn't enough, there's also programs for the entire family.
There is. There's great programs offered for the entire family that's grieving, bringing the families together. We have days out at the beach. We have days out at the metro parks. And we want to bring the family unit together, again, with specialists that can help and help them work through the grief. A wise woman once told me that you can't go over the grief and you can't go around the grief. You need to go through the grief. And we're there every step of the way.
All right, but all of these programs take some money to be able to offer them to everybody in the community.
They sure do.
There's ways for people to help, right? And including one coming up next, the Walk to Remember.
Yes, so our Walk to Remember is actually a week from today, and it's going to be held at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. So it's on June 11th. And this is our largest fundraiser of the year. And the funds from the walk help to support the grief programs that I spoke about. They also help to support our unreimbursed programs, such as our pediatric care, our art therapy, music therapy, pet therapy. So it's really a great day out. Our theme this year is Celebrate Life. So everybody who comes gets a t-shirt. We're presented by Huntington Bank, and everybody gets a t-shirt. There's food, there's fun, there's entertainment, and there's a 1 mile walk and a 3 mile walk. But after the walk is over, your admission includes the entire zoo for the day,
all right,
the rainforest for the day. So you get to stay all day, and it's only $25 for adults, and there's a reduced rate for families. And again, all of the proceeds go to fund these wonderful programs through, that are offered throughout Northern Ohio by Hospice of the Western Reserve.
So how do you register?
So you can go to our website to register. It's not too late, or you can register the day of the walk. But check out the website and go ahead and get registered. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, good.
We will all experience the loss of a loved one sometime in our lifetime. Hospice of the Western Reserve is there to help. To learn more or to register for the Walk to Remember, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Lynn Hermensky for joining us today.
Thank you.
Find out more by calling the Hospice of the Western Reserve at 800-707-8922 or click to www.hospicewr.org. Next, Family Matters.
Right now, proton therapy, a revolutionary treatment for many types of cancer, is available for the first time in Ohio and only at University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. That's the future of cancer care. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center. Right now, the trusted experts of University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center and the most advanced cancer-fighting technologies are in 17 community locations. That's leading-edge care where you're most comfortable. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to focus on why families need a long-term care plan in place. At my law firm, I've been working with families for years, decades even. Sometimes families get along and sometimes they don't. A recent court case out of New Jersey highlights when things go terribly wrong. However, it also serves as a reminder to plan prior to long-term care being needed. Here to talk about this case and its impact on all of us is my law partner, Mike Solomon.
Hello, Lori.
So welcome back. Tell us about the case.
Well, I'm going to shorten the story up a little bit. As you mentioned, it's from New Jersey. The case came out just a couple of months ago. It started back in 2015 when the individual, the mother, went into hospital. She had pneumonia. She had 3 children, and her husband was still alive. And she was in the hospital. For whatever reason, the youngest son, the 3 children, the youngest brother, was the holder of the healthcare power of attorney. He made the medical decisions. And when the mother was released from the hospital, he decided it made more sense that she go in a nursing home rather than her go back to her own home. And then shortly later, the dad eventually moved over to the nursing home also. And there was a little disagreement there. The older son, the older brother who was out of town, he thought mom and dad should go home. The younger brother who was in town handling all this felt that it made more sense to the nursing home. And the sister was going back and forth.
Wow. Okay, so why wasn't mom making the decision?
Well, the case didn't give the details. I suspect the mom maybe had some, capacity issues, mental capacity issues, and probably also since the father her husband wasn't on the healthcare power, he probably had some issues along those lines too, where he couldn't make those sort of decisions.
So the kids disagreed. That happens. But how did it escalate into a court battle?
Well, what happened was that the older brother and younger brother started emailing and texting each other back and forth, and the older brother felt that the mom and dad should be at home, and the younger brother wasn't listening, and he wasn't paying attention to the younger brother. And with emails and text, you can be a lot nastier in a text than you can in person. It's much harder to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it was getting nasty, the emails. And then actually the older brother made a threat of violence against the younger brother, and the younger brother got a restraining order. That's hard to get, so that shows you how bad it got.
Oh my goodness, I'm glad most cases don't end up that way.
No, and what we recommend is that when mom and dad are competent, they sit down with their kids and say, here's our estate planning, here's what we're doing. I'm not saying, oh, I'm giving this away here or that, but the healthcare power, sit down with them and say, here's why I've named this order of who's going to make the healthcare decisions, and here's what I want. It gives everyone a chance to talk it out. Everyone have input while everyone's in good shape, and they can all have their input, and they kind of know what mom and dad want. So when bad things start happening, they have the time to make the right decisions that mom and dad would have wanted, rather than this battle between siblings on who's going to be the boss.
Right, good advice. Okay. We always say there's no one-size-fits-all in estate planning. This case points out, though, that all families can benefit from talking about long-term care before it's needed and before it comes to fisticuffs. So for help with your discussion, you can attend seminars on estate planning and important documents you need that we'll be hosting this coming week. To learn more, use the number that's coming up next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. We're off next week, but join us again on June 18th. Until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.